Yo, what it do, kinfolk and skin folk? For the newbies, you are in the right place. And for our returning friends and family, y'all already know this is the Life Be Lifing podcast. The Life Be Lifing, not a like the Life Be Lifing podcast. Don't get it confused, all right? Because this is the only podcast that is hosted by the dynamic, the squishy gangster, the wise, the funny, the real Mimi, the goddess. Yeah. And this the only podcast where she could be flanked by none other than your favorite coach, your favorite fat freckle man, the big dog himself. Ho! Splash Charles.
Yeah.
We going right before we get into our topic today, I want to just mention something right quick. Shout out to my guys, Tony Allen. Shout out to my guy, Kevin Killingsworth, man. Just want to go ahead and drop some little, pro black stuff on y'all right quick. You feel me? As y'all can see, I'm into comic books, and black comic books and black comic book authors and artists are on the rise. So we want to support that whenever possible. My homies over at Dreamcatcher Comics, I just named two of them, and I'm trying to get them on a podcast when I get a chance. But they have this title out, Blood Makers. You feel me? This is issue one that I have for myself. Issue two dropped. That's why I'm promoting issue one, because you get the first issue, we can kind of make you feel like you're left on a cliffhanger. You want to know what happened next? Well, if you don't already have issue one, go ahead and get both issues at the same time. Reach out to me, I'll put you in touch with them, and you could go ahead and get two issues all at once so you can start your journey on this story. All right, it's amazing. It's sci-fi, it's supernatural, it's comedy, it's action. It got a whole bunch of stuff you want. Funny enough, we have some real friends that make appearances in this book. There's characters based on them. So I think that's super dope as well. But for sure, Blood Makers from Dreamcatcher Comics. Get into it when you get a chance. All right, hit me up and I'll put you down. This episode is about apologies. A concept that, as Lauren Hill said, could all be so simple, but folks rather make it hard. Um, it's far more complicated than it should be, but such is life, right? So
Such as that.
we gonna get into it. Just kind of the complexities of it and what makes it complex. And as always, y'all know that I let my lovely co-host lead off because I'm a ladies first kind of guy. So, uh, talk on me about what an apology means to you.
It
I said,
shows
talk
that
on
you
me, talk to me.
feel. Okay, I understood. I knew this time. It shows that you feel remorse for your actions. And there's some acknowledgement there about the hurt that your actions have caused to said person. More specifically, most people are only sorry or apologetic about something they've done towards someone that they care about or love. 9 times out of 10, if it's some random person, you don't care. But I think, those are the major factors to a genuine apology. I always have this um, saying, or my thought process is there's a difference between I'm sorry and I apologize. Because we're
Ooh.
big today on the whole sorry not sorry, apology, toward the people go on Vice. Well, I apologize. And to me, both of those are kind of like nonchalant statements because when you say I'm sorry, you're really not saying I'm sorry for what I did. I'm sorry, that made you feel away. I'm remorseful. I acknowledge what I did. It's more like, well, I'm sorry that I made you mad, or I'm sorry that you feel the way you feel about that. Well, I'm sorry that you found out that I did X, Y, and Z. It's never I'm sincerely sorry. What can I do to fix it? I always tell folks the only apology I accept is one that comes with changed behavior. Because it's no need in you apologizing to me if you're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's like you're repeating the same action. So are you really sorry? No. Do you really apologize for that? No, because you keep doing the same thing over and over again. So like I feel like a lot of that is disingenuous these days. And it's really a waste of my time if you're just gonna sit here and give me a blanketed apology and hit me with a sorry, not sorry, because you really don't mean it. So
Okay. Okay. Well, as I've liked to do in our recent episodes where we get to talk about concrete topics, let's go ahead and throw this definition in there, right? So the definition I found for apology is a regretful acknowledgement of an offense or failure.
cool.
So that definitely speaks to what you're saying in terms of remorse, regretful and remorse.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
and it's, as you said, an acknowledgement of what you did wrong, right? All right. So for me, I think, so for me, like you said, there's definitely the, sorry, not sorry, which is not an apology by any means, if you ask me. The person is literally telling you, like, fuck you. Like, that's really what it is. That's
Right.
really what it is. I don't even know why people or how people could look at sorry, not sorry anyway. It's just kind of like, it really is. I know it's wrong and fuck that. Like, that's what that sounds like to me. Sorry, not sorry is I know it's wrong. I know it's not politically correct. I know that this goes against the norms, but fuck that. Cause I'm not sorry. I did it. And you gonna have to deal with it.
And a lot of people don't really necessarily come out with the sorry, not sorry. But to me, with that, well, I'm sorry, it says and signals the same thing to me. You really don't mean anything. It's no real remorse or, acknowledgement there. It's just like, well, I'm sorry.
So
I
it's
feel like when
you
somebody
feel
says
like
I apologize, they're really acknowledging, what
mm,
they've done to hurt you. Like I'm sorry is like
mm.
fuck it. I'm sorry. Shit. What you want me to do about it? Like that's how I'm sorry comes off. You say I'm sorry I stepped on your foot. I'm sorry I bumped you. I'm sorry I forgot to call you back. You're not sorry when you do some craziness to someone that you know has hurt their feelings. You can't say, "Well, I'm sorry." It just
See, and
doesn't hit the
that's
same for
where
me.
And that's where this gets very interesting, right? Because part of conversations I've been saying in the episodes lately is linguistics, right?
True.
How we hear a word, how we react to the emotion attached to that word, um, how we experience the word in our space. So if you're around people that just throw sorry up like it's a hiccup or like it's second nature or like it's just breathing, it definitely takes less of it has less oomph, you know what I'm saying? As you said, it doesn't
Yeah.
hit the same, right?
Right.
So this is where I'm kind of not of two minds, but I feel differently than most people about apologies. Um
Mm.
so I feel like, let me put it this way. I realize that apologies matter to people,
Yes.
right? I realize that apologies matter a lot to people. Um And what I observe and what I understand is that how you apologize, of course, does matter.
Yes. Because what that does is it gives off that sincerity of you
Hmm.
really being apologetic. And that opens the way for the dialogue and communication to happen, for you guys to kind of like rebuild that broken part of the relationship. Because let's be honest, a lot of times when you apologize for something, it's something you done this pretty messed up, and you are having to atone for that and work back from it, which is why I said, don't give me the apology if it doesn't come with change behavior. So it's just kind of like, you hurt somebody, you're apologizing, you're acknowledging that, and now you have to work to rebuild certain, broken parts of your relationship. So
And I know I said this already, but like this is just really interesting to me because for me, I don't need complications for an apology, right? Like there are some people like
hmm.
yourself, the word sorry bothers them because sorry doesn't carry any weight. Even in how
But
you just gave that example, like sorry is just something you do for something small, like. You know what I'm saying? But I don't place those kind of judgments or those kind of values on whether you say I apologize or I'm sorry. Why? Because I know full well somebody could say either one and not mean it, right? They could
And
just
see,
be
that's
appealing to you. They could just be appealing to your style of how you like to receive the apology.
mm,
Now, for me, the apology is literally just the first and foremost, the acknowledgement that you did something wrong.
mm,
And so if you just say, I apologize, or you just say, I'm sorry, that's where people's emotions start to get involved and questions actually, it opens the space for questioning, right? I have to admit, it does open a space for questioning because the person could assume that, okay, that was a sincere apology because this is a real and sincere person, so forth and so on. So if they said it, they meant it. But that person could be being disingenuous and just trying to, keep the bullshit moving. Um, whereas in it's kind of like, well, what do you want out of the apology, right? That's where we can start to sift into it and look through it. Because you said something that I'm gonna touch on a little later because I feel like you have something to say and I have to literally speak to that portion later. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Um, but like I said, just at the base of it, an apology and acknowledgement of what you did with me is initially apology enough. So, something like my bad for a stranger stepping on your foot, you're not really looking, in my opinion, you're not really looking for an apology. You're just looking for the acknowledgement. So, the my bads and the excuse me's, those are not the same. They are like a lower level of the
yeah,
apology, right?
yeah,
Because it's the acknowledgement, again, according to the internet, I did something I wasn't supposed to do. I offended you. So, pardon me.
right.
I beg your pardon.
I beg
Literally,
your pardon.
you understand? Like, what I mean? So it's that extension of social grace. Now the question, like I said, where things get questionable is when it goes from social grace to, like you're saying, trying to repair something. I think that space is so wide, that gap is so huge. That's where people start to get like their personal feelings involved and where the war, as far as apologies, can begin.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna let you jump back in because I gotta finish formulating this and get it correct exactly how I want it to go.
I think that I felt the same way you did about sorry versus, apology initially until, I found myself in a situation where repeat offenses kept occurring and the response was, well, I'm sorry. You sorry for what? No acknowledgement, no remorse. And then when the I apologize came, it was like, I apologize because now I realize what I've been doing, what I've done, what I've said, how I've acted, the way I treated you was wrong and I have to fix that. So I think that's when I developed the whole sorry, not sorry versus here's your genuine apology standpoint on that because you know, I through therapy I've learned like I have to really, like I said, atone for ways and things that I've done and say to people like, I really apologize for how I acted over the years, things that I've said to you that I realized might have been hurtful. Before I was just like, well, I'm sorry. Damn, I didn't know you were so offended by that. That's how it was before. And then I kind of realized like there's something there with that because it's like the I'm sorry is the easy way out because you're really not acknowledging anything. Kind of like when you stepping on somebody's foot. My bad. I'm sorry. Like you're not saying my bad. I stepped on your shoe. Those look very new. I'm. Do I need to, acknowledge? Like, do I need to get you something to clean that off? Do you want money for a new pair? Like you're atoning for. screwing up somebody's pair of shoes. Like they're nice
Right.
new Air Force Ones or something. It's a difference to me. You know what I'm saying? It's a
Okay.
to me, I've learned it is a difference. Like, and it's only a difference when you're dealing with people that know that they don't really want to accept, I guess, defeat as to you having to apologize for what you've done because you've hurt someone. Like a lot of people don't want to acknowledge what I did hurt you because they don't want to be responsible for someone else's feelings. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like once you give up that apology, you are now responsible for what you did to that person. And then you have to, kind of like own that mistake, and owning those mistakes. That's kind of heavy for a lot of people. So a lot of folks be hitting you with the, I'm sorry, my bad, because I apologize now, like you said, opens up, the next level lines of communication. Like, okay, so I apologize. What can I do to fix it? How can I rebuild the trust? What can I do to make it better? How can I, fix it? How can we move forward? So I think there is a big difference in the sorry, not sorry. And like I said, I've come to that conclusion in dealing with someone that doesn't really acknowledge, apologies sincerely. And then also like through therapy, like, damn, like I've been a little rude about that shit my dad's self. Like I just be hitting people with the I'm sorry, my bad. And now I can see why people feel like, oh yeah, your, sorry wasn't very genuine. I don't really accept that. You gotta come better than that.
Yeah, because as I said, sorry means a lot to people. Those atonements, those, acknowledgments mean a lot to people. There's people who,
Yeah.
um, pardon me, I was cooking earlier, so onion's still in my eye. Um,
Oh, been chopping
but,
onions all week.
um, man, um, but there's people who literally can't move on from what you did to them.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because they never got the apology. There are literally people spending thousands of dollars in therapy because the bully is never going to walk up to them and apologize.
Yeah.
The attacker, the molester, the abuser, um, the bad parent is never going to come and say, you know
Yeah.
what I did was wrong. I wronged you. I shouldn't have done that to you. You didn't deserve that. I apologize. So for me, sorry works just as well as long as you're willing to acknowledge the apology, right?
Right.
Like I've both seen and been a person who literally will break down sobbing to a person telling you I'm sorry for what it is, especially like you said, realizing that like, okay, I might know what I did was wrong, but I might have thought it was justifiable. But once I've had time to think on it, once I be real with myself, I realized that even if I can justify it, it was cruel. Even if I can justify it,
Yeah.
it was harsh. You know what I'm saying? And if I love you, I still can't do you like that. Even if I can make what I did make sense, doing you like that was foul. It was an attack. And that hurt me to realize that I could do so callously. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was me saying something out of turn, um, and I said in previous episodes, I don't say nothing I don't mean. I'm not the person that uses my anger as an excuse for saying something that's crazy. Nor do I say something that I don't believe just to hurt your feelings. So if I said it, I 100% meant it, and I meant to say it at that time. That doesn't, however, necessarily make what I said right. It may be factual, it may be genuine, but it still is not right in terms of morally, in terms of did me saying that to you really benefit you? You know what I'm saying? Did it really benefit us, our relationship? Did it help? It didn't. I just wanted to get it off. You had already got me to this point where I'm like, nah, I'm gonna say how I feel and I'm gonna get
Yeah.
that off. But getting that off with you, as opposed to maybe getting that off in therapy, was not as helpful as I thought it would be. And it's not because, oh, well, you're weak and you couldn't accept my truth. It's that literally there's nothing you can do about whatever it is. So situations like that, it's like even though you felt like you was right, I'm still sorry. Like sorrow, like emphasis. You know what I'm saying? Like take that root word of sorry and sorrow. I feel sorrow for what I did. So in that case, it's like for me, I'm getting deeper than simple apology. You know what I'm saying? I can be man enough to apologize when I've wronged somebody, but when I get to a certain level of sorry, like that's for me, that's here, that's deep. Like something in me just don't sit right. Um, to where even after my apology, I still feel bad. I feel like I can't make that up to you no matter how hard I try. Not that I won't try, but it's just always going to sit with me knowing I did you like that. Um, like I can admit, I'm that person who has, believe it or not, I've had nightmares about things I've done to people, and that might sound crazy, but it's like I literally had to learn to forgive myself. Um, because what I realize is, and this is, I don't want to get too far off the topic. When you don't forgive yourself for things that you do to people, you can find yourself doing it again
Um, yeah, that's
because it
actually why off the
poisons you.
topic.
Because it poisons you as a person. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Which
That self
is
guilt and all that kind of stuff. There's a limit that it's supposed to have.
right.
You let it get you too down, you go too far away from yourself, and you become the kind of person that does bad things,
Yeah.
unloving and inconsiderate things, disrespectful things, all that.
Yeah.
So,
Which is why I say apologies have to come with change behavior.
so let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. I hear people say that all the time. Like that's actually a popular thing. It's not an apology unless it comes with changed behavior. I, for one, disagree. I, for one,
Okay.
disagree because an apology is an apology. If they truly, if they're actually making the apology, we're not talking about the people, like you said, damn, sorry, like, God damn, the damn, Gina, are you happy now?
Yeah.
Like,
Classic.
we're not talking about that type of apology. We talking about somebody who genuinely apologized to you, whether it was, yo, I'm sorry, I left you hanging like that. That wasn't right. Or, I apologize for the way I've treated you over the last few months. Either one. Now they
Yeah.
go back and do the same issue, right?
Yeah.
Now, because you're wrong, you see that previous apology as performative. It's something that they just did because they're supposed to do it.
It
It's
was a
part of
thing
the
to
role
do.
to be played. Right,
Yes, it was
right,
a thing
right,
to do. It shut you
right,
up. It got them over the hump. It ended the conversation, deaded the situation. That's how I
right.
feel about I'm sorry. Because like I'll say to somebody, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm not saying I apologize that your uncle died. I didn't do
Hey,
anything to
yo.
you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry for your loss. Like,
Hey,
I'm not
yo,
running
that's
around here.
clever.
That's why I think there's a difference in the sorry
Clever.
versus apology thing because
That's fucking clever, Mish. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's clever.
trust me, I have thought about this for umpteen years
I
because
apologize,
you
gotta put back.
know, in all fairness, when you're trying to get an apology out of someone for something that they've done to you, and then it's like a repeat offense, like that, I'm sorry, doesn't sit well with you at all because it's like, do you really even know what you're sorry for?
But see, that's where my counter is, right? If they can literally tell you either I'm sorry for or I apologize for, literally, as we said in the beginning, the acknowledgement of the wrong, but they do it again, I think this is where things get muddled, right?
Sure.
And people say that that was no longer an apology. Or if you apologize again, that's not an apology.
What about the people that I apologize never comes out of your mouth? You
That's
only
that's
get the
that's
I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah. Well, I don't want to say yeah, yeah,
That
like that's dismissive. I'm saying it like I agree.
right.
But I agree about that, and those are an entirely different batch of people, right? That's the people where literally, like, you know they're not sorry, you know they're not apologizing. They're trying so hard not to even say, I'm
They
sorry.
they want you
Like,
off their line. They trying to get you
you
off their
feel me?
back.
That sorry damn near had to be dragged out. So they damn sure ain't
Like
finna
pulling
stand in
teeth.
front of you. Yeah, they damn sure ain't finna stand in front of you and give you this humble apology where they throw themselves before your mercy. So I want to
Yeah.
push those people to the side for just a second before you get back into explaining how that works. And talk about, like I said, this phenomenon around apology. Um, it's almost like apology equals changed behavior, right? So
I see how
I
you say
feel like
that.
that's how people are packaging it. Like, you can't have an
Yeah.
apology without changed behavior. I disagree for two reasons. I could change my behavior and not be sorry for what I did.
So before you go,
That's
I'm
number
gonna tell
one.
you what I say now. The
Talk to me.
only apology I want is change behavior. Leave the apologies out of it. Just do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to that, it's like it used to be, oh, apologies need to be followed by change behavior. Now, the only apology for me is change behavior. If you're doing the same thing over and over again, you're not apologizing, you ain't sorry, you don't care, you're not remorseful, you're just gonna keep doing what work for you.
All right, welcome into this chamber of the conversation. I thought I was going to get to this later, but since you jumped right to it, let's get right to this right now, man. And again, we don't sponsor the gender wars here on this channel, Life Be Life.
At all.
I'm literally sitting here with a female who's one of my best friends in life, and we don't do the bullshit.
We don't.
So, but we go and make some points every now and then about the men and women that we've observed, okay? So, from my standpoint, because again, I've heard it from women, I've heard it from my own wife at times.
Oh, yeah.
If so, of course, change behavior matters, right? But I feel like people do also want an acknowledgement. I not I feel like I take that back. Snatch. I know that people also want a verbal acknowledgement
They
because their
do.
feelings are hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
Especially in my dealings, especially women, they want
Yes.
that verbal acknowledgement. So if you did, like, I've literally seen situations where bruh tried to make up for what he did, right? Not even doing the same thing. And Shorty literally said, "That's cool. I respect that. But I wish you was humble enough to say that you were sorry." What's also crazy is that I've heard. So this is, like I said, this is where this thing gets crazy to me. This is where this gets crazy to me. So I've heard a woman argue with a dude and say that you didn't even have the decency to apologize.
Heard that.
You know you was wrong. You didn't even have the decency to apologize. Same woman, same dude. That apology don't matter. You did that before. That apology don't count. Come on, man. Come on, man. Like, don't get me wrong. I completely understand. It's really, really clear to understand the desire for
Yeah.
change behavior. I'm not going to be obtuse and I'm not going to bullshit y'all audience. I'm not going to do that. But if the change behavior hasn't happened yet, because I also need us to be practical, some of the behaviors that people need to change don't happen overnight.
They don't.
It is a part of who the person is, and they have to unlearn this, learn that, break away from this, practice that
Yeah. That's
till it
true.
becomes muscle memory. You're literally trying to get rid of this muscle memory to create new muscle memory. And anybody who's learned how to do something their whole life and had to learn how to do it differently understands what it is. I know I'm coach, so I always want to throw sports metaphors at y'all, but I'm gonna spare y'all this one moment and just give it to y'all practice. All right. So if you had to learn how to just, let's say, just eat, right? You're right-handed. Bam, you break your hand. Now you got to learn how to eat with your left hand. You're gonna start with that hand in a cast, picking up the fork with your right, even though you can't. You're gonna try it. Like, damn shit.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? And that's how these habits, that's how these traits, that's how these behaviors also work. So when you say that the apology doesn't work, that doesn't matter because the change behavior hasn't come. That's where,
Right.
like I said, things starting to get sticky. So now the conversation has to go from changed behavior to, well, what's that person thinking when they
Right.
go back and make that same mistake? What type time is that person on? Is it the fact that it's their habit and their muscle memory putting them in that situation? Or is that a person who's not working to progress, who's choosing to do the same old bullshit because they think they can?
So that's the people I am. I get like you make a genuine mistake because again, you do have to unlearn learn behaviors. But it's the folks that are blatantly doing the same thing over and over again. Like, give an example. You get caught conversing with someone you know you're not supposed to be conversing with. Conversation is borderline inappropriate. You're called out on it, you're caught, and you're saying, I'm sorry. I apologize. Whatever you want to use, whatever term worked for you. And then it happens again. How can you say, oh, I got to unlearn that behavior? You knew the first time what you were doing was wrong. So you damn sure knew the second time what you was doing was super wrong because you had already been called to the carpet on it. So it's the certain things that people are not willing to unlearn because
So
they really
that's
haven't apologized for it and they're really not sorry because they did what they wanted to do. It's what,
true, true.
it's what
But
benefited
again,
them.
but even again, if we're just gonna be honest, of course, neither one of us have our doctorates in therapy. But
Which
even so, these bad behaviors and these poor decisions are coming from a muscle memory standpoint of their personality, right? So
yes,
whether it
yes.
is, so even in that kind of situation, hey, I need you to stop talking to Carl. Every time you and Carl talk, he finds some metaphor for get in your conversation. I don't like that shit because I feel like he's trying to introduce you to his dick. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking to Carl. Now here come Carlito ass on the phone with you again, or in the text messages with you again. What happened? I thought you wasn't talking to Carl. Nah, you know what? And it's just that you're so used to you and his conversation that you, even though I called you out and you know you're wrong, it's literally habitual. So then we got to start talking about the things that's going on around that. Why is Carl your safety blanket? Why is he your default? What's going on here?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All these things, like I said, have a deeper, and I'm not trying to excuse it. I'm not. It's wrong. Stop fucking talking to Carl. Whoever
Right.
you are. Stop talking to Carl. Stop talking to Carla. Whoever you are. Okay?
Stop talking, Carl. Stop talking, Carla. But hold on, it be the motherfucker that stopped talking to Carl or Carla, and now they're talking to Lisa or Leon.
Boom. And that's where
And then you
that's
tell
where
them
I was
stop
getting.
talking to Lisa and Leon. Now they're talking to fucking Mike and Mary. Like, come
But it's
on,
this
y'all.
but
Like
it's the
you're doing the same
same,
thing over and over
right.
and over again, and you're
And
not fucking
then
sorry for it. Period.
but but that's I don't always know that that's true. Now, I'm gonna say majority of the times it's probably true. But I don't know that that's always true because again, there's things behind behaviors. Now sometimes it's
Yeah,
just I'm
true.
doing what I want to do. Let's just be honest, all right? Throw my hands up, not fighting that. Sometimes it's just a motherfucker doing what they want to do. Like you said, I feel like talking to whoever I want to talk
Exactly.
to, whenever I
Exactly.
want to talk to. So I apologize for this person, but I got a replacement on standby because I'm gonna do what I want. Um,
And for that,
you
I
know what I'm
don't
saying?
want your
And
apology
those are the
because
people who's
you're gonna do what you're gonna
absolutely,
do. So don't even bother. Don't bother
absolutely
with the apology because you know the
right,
moment the opportunity presents itself, you're gonna be sorry, not sorry. Like, sorry,
right,
I know I ain't supposed to do this, but I'm not sorry because this
sorry,
is what I want to do. So don't apologize.
right,
Don't say sorry.
right,
Don't nothing.
right,
Just be like, keep it a buck. Just Like, listen,
But see,
this is what
here's
I do,
again,
and I.
here's where things go crazy. Outside of you, I literally will hear that situation. I will literally hear that situation and she'll get mad that he didn't say sorry.
Nah,
And
I'm not mad.
I be confused. I be
I'm glad you
confused.
stood in my face and said sorry, or I apologize, or whatever term people want to use to make them. And then it's like, no, you're not. And I would just prefer for you to hold off on even giving me that lame, you know, extension of remorse than to give me something like is disingenuous. Like, I think that's what I hate the most. It be the disingenuous nature of the apologies and I'm sorry's. It's just like you don't really mean it. Like, you don't really care. You don't care that my feelings are hurt for it. Because you don't even understand how I feel. You're not even trying to understand why I feel the way I feel in order for you to owe me the apology, for me to feel like I'm due and just for an apology. And then
So can I
it's
cut you off
like,
to ask that question?
yeah,
Can I cut
go
you off
ahead.
to ask that question?
Mm-hmm.
What if they don't get it? And what if they can't wrap their head around it, but they apologize and the behavior changes?
I
Then
think
does
it
it
depends
matter?
on, I think it will depend on what the situation is that's yielding the apology and for why they don't understand, right?
Okay.
So, something as small as, I'm kind of hurt that you went out to eat and you didn't even think to ask me if you wanted me to bring you anything home. Well, why does that hurt your feelings? Because you wasn't thinking about me. You didn't make sure I ate. Um, you go out all the time and don't ask me, do I want anything to eat? I
Right.
didn't know that that's where we was at. I'm sorry. I didn't know. That's different. But you repeating the same BS behaviors where you doing some stuff that a person has blatantly expressed to you, hey, look, this is something I don't like. This is something that puts me in my feelings. This is something that's going to upset me. This is something that's going to have us on bad terms. And you decide to do it anyway. It's those type of situations where it's like, come on, you get it. You know what you did is wrong. You know the mistake you made. You know
So,
that the apology is due. You got to make amends for it. And you will stand here in my face and tell me it won't happen again, but it's most definitely going to happen again. And we
yeah,
both
now
know
see,
this.
that's where things definitely get dicey at. That's
Yeah.
definitely where things get dicey at. Trying to make the commitment that something will never happen again, knowing you're going to do it again, or knowing that you haven't done the work to prevent it from happening again, or you're not going to do the
Exactly.
work to prevent it from happening again.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that's what aggravates me. And that's
that
why
definitely
that's why
will
I started
invalidate.
standing on the don't even apologize. Just stop doing it. Like, and then you won't even have to worry about the apology. Like, and if people would really just slow down and think before they do, think before they act, think before they speak, think before they move, think before they feel, a lot of this kind of need for an apology, need for an I'm
Okay.
sorry would really go away. Like, really. And
Mm,
it's like,
mm,
but people, what happens is to negate having to apologize to someone for hurting their feelings means you start thinking about their feelings. You're putting their feelings in the forefront of your mind, saying, I know if I do this, this person is going to be hurt by this. I know if I say this person is going to be hurt by this. It's one thing, like, like I said, me and my dad got into a big blowout one day. And, my father has his way of poking the bear. So he says things that he knows going to piss you off.
mm.
But most of the time we just ignore it, right? But it's that one time where you like, I'm not ignoring this. I'm going to give you everything I got. And I'm not sorry for it. Then people realize, oh, I went too far. And then it's like a barrage of apologies. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say this, because now you realize you went too far. You hurt their feelings. You said something you wasn't supposed to say. And now you're on their shit list. And you want off of it. So now you
Mm-hmm.
have to, like, and ever since my father and I had that situation, I guarantee you my father has thought twice about saying anything sideways out his mouth to me. Because I went 3+ months without acknowledging any of his messages, calls, or voicemail because I felt like it was going to be one of them I'm sorry, not sorry situations because you've done it so many times. So it wasn't until like I heard him admittedly take responsibility for what he said, really like come across remorseful and say, how can I fix it? And I'm really going to work on making sure it doesn't happen again. Then I was able to say, Dad, I accept your apology. Shit happens. Don't let it happen again. Because if it does, please know you're going to get the same response. But that be the drop. That be the drop. People apologize knowing they're going to do the shit again. And they know that you were going to sit here and be hurt by it. And they don't really care. As long as they
I
good.
don't I don't know if they even think that far. Like you said, it's about
Some
thinking
people
first,
don't.
right? Because I don't even know if people always think that far. I mean, listen, I know I haven't always thought that far ahead to
Yeah,
where,
true.
I'm about to do something that's negatively impactful. And what I'm saying, it's not like, because if that's the case, then I'm being malicious. And there are times, yes, in life, I'm going to be malicious. I have been.
Definitely. I
I,
have
I,
that
I I
tendency
hope
about
I
me.
hope I don't go back there in life to anybody else. But then there's times where it's a possibility. Like, yes, I'm going to be malicious. I'm going to purposely do this. And I know it's going to hurt you in a particular way. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's as a response to violation or whatever, right? But I think that's a key part of, trying to put yourself in their shoes before you make said action, right?
Right.
Which is not the easiest thing to do. People find that hard to do every day, just putting themselves in other people's shoes, having sympathy and empathy, in
That's
general.
what the world is lacking. And I feel like
Absolutely.
if you put yourself in
Absolutely.
someone else's shoes, a lot of these I'm sorry's and I apologizes wouldn't even happen. Because, how does the old saying go? Don't do nothing you don't want, done to you. Don't do nothing to me, you don't want me to do nothing to you.
But that's where things get tricky. I was saying that a lot this episode, but that's where things get tricky, right? Because let's say if you did it to me, I wouldn't have that response. To me, it don't weigh that much. So, like, the whole thing that you said with bro and cussing, right? As long as you don't call him a nigga, he cool.
Sure.
So for you, getting called a nigga, you're not gonna fly off the handle,
Yeah, just
right?
like I don't care if somebody call
It
me the B word. That doesn't really hit
right,
the same for me unless I know you're threatening me, then we got a problem. You know what
of
I'm
course.
saying?
And at
But
that point, it don't matter what they say; they being threatened. It's the intent,
exactly. It's right. It's not even that. You know what I'm saying? So
right?
yeah.
So it's like, so you calling him a nigga is not like you doing to him what you wouldn't want done to you, but he don't like that shit.
Yeah, he
You
don't.
know what I'm saying? It's his trigger, it's his issue. So I think that's, like I said, I just think that there's so many layers when we think about these things that we feel like people don't apologize for, people are not remorseful for. And I want to also say this: we don't know how remorse works for other people. We don't.
Ooh,
We
that's a good
think we
point.
do. We think we do because somebody is still doing something bad. And if you're doing something bad, you can't possibly be remorseful. I'm here to
Right.
tell y'all are wrong. Y'all are wrong.
Oh boy, some people
I
gonna be
just
mad
want to,
about that one.
I know they are, and they're not going to
Yeah.
agree, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But somebody could be remorseful about doing you wrong. It's just that their ego, their entitlement, their desires trump what they feel about you.
Yeah.
So they're going to do what they need to do for themselves.
True.
People have to understand that sometimes two things could be true. Remorse, damn, this was wrong. I don't want to do this no more. Oh my God, that was terrible. Placed in the same situation, they might not do it right then. But placed in another situation, add some stressors on, take away some opportunities, and they feel a little bit less loved on that day. Boom, right back to doing whatever it is. Um, I liken it to Jekyll and Hyde, right? Only let's say you could control when that transformation happens. So it's like I'm holding in Jekyll all this time. I'm trying to snuff him out. I mean, I am Jekyll. I'm trying to snuff out Hyde. I'm trying to just be Mr. Jekyll, cool guy, cool boy. Life not going well for me. I'm not getting the support I need. I don't feel like I'm getting love. All of a sudden, Hyde is loud as fuck.
Yep.
I know Hyde is my inner demon. I know Hyde is my monster. But because I have not yet done enough work to separate myself from him, yo, come on out, boy. You got it. I'm gonna go
I'm
to
gonna let you
sleep. You
have
go,
it today.
go ahead, have a ball, bro. Like,
You got it. Go ahead and
get,
handle the day for me, bro.
get this shit done, bro. I'm done. I'm tapped out. So like,
But
I don't think that it's our job to assign levels of remorse. I don't think it's always fair and it's
yeah,
not always accurate. But I can say that remorse doesn't matter as much as changed behavior matters. I can say
I can
that
agree
much
with
because
that.
no matter how much somebody feels bad about what they did to you, at the end of the day, it's more important that they're not still doing it.
Yeah, I
So
agree
I'm
with
with
that.
you on the conclusion of, hey, you know what? How about you tuck the apology and get rid of the thing you're apologizing for?
Exactly. And I always say I can tell when it's going to repeat itself, when
Mm.
this action is going to rear its ugly head, because along with the I'm sorry or the apology comes the explanation of
Ooh,
your actions and what caused it. And yeah, like the justification. And I'm like, the fact that you feel like you have to justify and explain
always a
is
bad sign.
kind of the precursor to the fact that you ain't sorry, you don't really fucking apologize, and best believe, baby,
Dude,
I'm gonna do this again. Know that, like, it's almost like blame shifting. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like, listen, keep your little perceived excuses to yourself because just prepare me for the bullshit to rear its
now
ugly head again.
that's one thing I gotta agree on. I ain't got no counter for is that the minute you start explaining away your apology, that much I can say. That's when I can say your apology and a real apology is once you start
Exactly.
explaining it away. For that I ain't got no comeback for that, y'all.
Oh,
That is that on that. Once you start saying, I'm sorry I did such and such to you, you just made me so mad. I'm sorry I did such and such to you, but I swear you don't never listen to me. I'm sorry I said such and such to you, but man, if you wasn't being such a bitch that day, like
Jesus. I done heard it all.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm with Big Mish on it. Like, no, you're not sorry.
Leave me out
I'm
of it.
not
You
thinking
ain't
that at
sorry.
all. I'm not thinking
That's
that at
that.
all. Like
That's that sorry not sorry shit to me. Like,
what y'all women say, I took my ears off and put them in my purse. I put them joints right in my pocket. All right, no, man. Snatch them off with the headphones.
Jesus, gotta go. I don't want to hear
Out
none
here
of that
nothing.
shit.
Out here nothing. Keep that. Keep
I don't want to
all
worry about none of that shit. Like, no, I'm done. Cut the mic
keep all
off.
that
We out of
shit.
here. Just
Keep
boom.
all that shit.
You got it, Slim.
I'm glad
I'm
you
gonna
mentioned
prepare
that
for this
part.
in about 3 to 6 months with your little narcissistic ass.
That's real talk. I'm glad you mentioned that part of it. Cause yeah, that's the one thing that I don't think should be open for debate. Like, don't get me wrong. I understand things can motivate you to do what's wrong and so forth and so on. But
Yeah.
when you go to apologize to a person, take the explanation off. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care what they did. If you did it in response, and that's the thing too, right? That's what makes it invalid because if you say you did it
Yes.
in response, how the fuck you sorry? Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's my point.
It doesn't make you look sorry at all, even
That's
if
my
you
point.
are. Even if you are. So if you go on with these qualifiers, justifiers, and explanations, y'all, it's gonna be a trash and apology. I'm not
It's
gonna
all
lie to you.
bad. It's
You
all
took all the
bad.
good out of it. I don't care if you came
Well,
with the roses, if you came on bended knee, if you topped him off crazy, whatever
right.
you did
You buying
to
jewelry, you know,
you know what I'm
no.
saying, whatever
We
your
are
olive branch is, the minute you start explaining, you burnt the olive branch.
for
You done killed
sure.
the dove. You done killed the dove. It's over.
Yes, it's a wrap.
It's
Just
over
go
with.
ahead and leave me be. You
That
know,
person
and I
should just
do
start rolling their eyes like, oh.
Right. Here we go with this again. And I do get the sincere apologies. Take time on both sides, right? It takes time
Yes.
for a person to forgive fully and truly and heal
And they
and be
might never.
understanding. Exactly, be understanding of what happened. And it takes time for a person to really process what they did to kind of, you know, step on someone's feelings and crush how crush the relationship in a way that it can't
Mm,
necessarily be automatically repaired. It's a lot
right.
of work that goes into it, and it's kind of like we were talking about in previous episodes about just in relationships, period, not just marriages, but family ships, kinships,
That's a fact.
situationships, friendships. Like, it takes work, and you're going to
Yes.
do something that is going to offend someone at some point, inadvertently, sometimes on
Unavoidable.
purpose. It is very unavoidable, but how you apologize in a sincere manner, the amount of sincerity that you give to it is really what matters most. Like, I think for me, because I've gotten to the point now where it's like I just get straight to the point of, listen, you pissed off about what I did or said, I apologize. It will not happen again. I will work to make sure going forward we don't have this same issue. But that's therapized, Denisha. You know what I'm saying? And I think, like, I remember my sister and I had, a little back and forth about, like I said, I mentioned this before, my 40th birthday. And then the Thanksgiving situation like a couple years ago. And I just, like, she wrote me a dissertation, and I felt like me trying to it was, I'm not trying to be funny, and I'm not trying to, you know
You say you're not gonna be funny, I'm laughing.
I'm not trying to shame her for what she wrote, because those were her feelings, right? There's a perfect example. Those were her feelings. I did something, I said something, my actions yielded certain feelings for her, right?
Hmm.
And albeit I did not agree with how she perceived the situation, because I felt like she wasn't seeing my side of why I was in the position and stance in which I was in, right? However, when she explained to me why it hurt her so much, because that was her first Thanksgiving in her home that she hosted, damn, Demisha, you know what? You were so pissed off about things that people have done to you, and you took this very stark positioning about how you were going to move going forward. You didn't really assess
Take
the
that into
effect that it was going to
consideration.
have on other people and take that
Hmm.
into consideration. You just knew you was going to do what
What
was
you
good
need
for
to do.
you,
Right.
and that was it. And you didn't care about anything else. Now, one might say, well, that's the whole point of what you have been dealing with. But also, I could have probably done things a teensy bit differently, right? So when she sent me, as I said, her dissertation, because normally my sister don't be sending no, we're not them type of females. We the ones who gonna text back, okay. Like, we deleting the whole paragraph and texting okay. We don't got time for that. So for her to have written all of that to me, I was like, yeah, her feelings are hurt. So my only response needed to be a direct, just, and true response. I'm sorry that I made you feel that way. That was not my intent. I apologize wholeheartedly. I will be sure going forward that this does not transpire again, and you don't ever have to worry about me putting you in that position. And she was like, that's all you have to say? You don't want to talk about it any further? There's nothing for me to talk about, because at this point, now I got to get to explaining to you, I'm tired of y'all treating me like I'm the money tree. I'm tired of y'all depending on me for everything. I'm tired of y'all thinking because I'm the oldest, I'm the most responsible. I'm tired of y'all thinking I don't need a break. That's me explaining my behavior, and my apology doesn't even matter no more.
Hmm.
We're just gonna leave it be. So for me, it's like, yeah, I'm a heal from how I felt, and I hope she's healed from that. And I have tried my best to say, here's what I'm capable of doing up front. Hear me clearly. This is all I'm doing. If I do anything else, it'll be because I want to. Don't have no expectations. So like, that's my apology to her. That's all I got for y'all. Like, I ain't got nothing else, you know what I'm saying? But I do know that's difficult for people. Again, I pay a lot of money to Weena Collins. I done went from every week to every 2 weeks to every month, and thank God in January I think I'm good to go for every other month. That was a lot of time spent to try
Progress.
to get to the point.
Mhm.
Yes, a lot of progress. So I now just don't hold it against people who don't know how to genuinely apologize and be sorrowful for what they have done to a person to make them feel, and less than good about the situation.
That's awesome. And we're gonna wrap on that because that's well said. I think that's where the meat of it is that we all sometimes need to learn. And not to learn, but to deal with the fact that we're not always gonna get the apology we want, whether it's
Yeah,
warranted or not.
yeah.
Um, this was definitely a dope episode. Time kind of flew by actually with this one.
It did.
Um,
It was like,
covered a lot of good ground.
yeah.
So I hope that y'all enjoyed. I hope that y'all get as much from it as we did. We did not pre-have this conversation. Like some of our conversations, erupt from group chat, banter and shit like that because we're
Listen, we be
friends in
getting it
real life.
in this group chat.
But this joint was kind of like it was just something that we saw one day and was like, oh well, maybe we could do. So this was all fresh run. It was all good. On
That's
behalf
what
of
happened when you
ADOT,
have two great, co-hosts that come together and know
for
how to
sure,
converse.
for sure, we two of the best doing it. What the fuck are they
For
talking about?
sure. Man, they gotta know
Um,
something.
you know what I'm saying? Not bragging. I'm talking facts.
Listen,
Um, our chemistry is hard to beat. Um,
indeed.
but on behalf of our brother A.C.E, that's who we always be. On behalf of our sponsor, Miss Keish with the K, the owner of Simply the Shake Catering. On behalf of Mimi the Goddess herself, and on behalf of your favorite coach's favorite coach, man, be smart, be respectful, be apologetic sincerely, okay? Be working on yourself. Be patient. Um, and be as kind to as many people as you possibly can. I know some people make it impossible. That's fine. Just be kind to who you can. But most importantly, every single day out, be kind to yourself because you cannot pour out of an empty cup. We appreciate y'all, whether it was 5 or 55, or however long this was that y'all spent with us. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, complain if you need be. All that. You know what I'm saying? Just get active. We on IG, we on Facebook, YouTube. We got the link tree on everything for you to listen to it however you like. Spotify, Apple, Blinker, iHeartRadio, all that. You feel
We
me?
out there. We out there.
We out there. Um, but once again, man, we appreciate y'all. Stay safe. Be safe and stay dangerous. We love y'all. And we gonna catch y'all on the next one, man. We up out of here.